Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we talk about 5.2.1 and the tweaks that... Coming up, we talk about 5.2.1 and the tweaks to the latest expanded content on Iokath. But first, some SWTOR and Guild news. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 192, who will be jettisoned in this escape pod to broadcast this episode for all of you just in time for May the 4th. Yes, may the 4th be with you as well, there, little astromech dude. With me as always is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
May the force ever serve you, Max. It's going well.
Live long and force prosper.
Prosper. Oh, we had a fun time on the pub side tonight with our mandatory fun night. We went and took a look at Tithe, and Tithe looked right back at us. So we had 2 or 3 attempts on him, which was challenging for us. Then we went and beat up some bosses in Dread Palace, which were a lot easier than Tithe. It's kind of amazing the difference. I mean, there's something to be said for knowing the fight versus, not knowing the fight, but they're a lot easier. Story mode Dread Palace versus story mode Tithe is there's a huge difference, which I'm not saying it's good or bad, I just noting it.
Yeah, there certainly is. And it was...
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot easier, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it helps that, as that group, it's always different, the group is always in flux, so it's not like a well-oiled team that plays together all the time. But at the same time, probably every individual that was there tonight had done those fights in Dread Palace multiple times too, so that helps for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it was a fun time. I love getting together on MFN, and we're kind of in a pattern. I guess we're going to mention this later, but we're kind of in a pattern now, thanks to Appalus, where we do on the imp side for 2 weeks, and then we have a pub side night, and then imp side for 2 weeks, and then pub side, which is great because it gives us like an opportunity to be on the pub site more regularly, because we were kind of hit and miss before. So I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. We've got a guild on both sides, and everyone's got characters on both sides, so it's nice to be able to support the pub side activity once in a while.
And last night I got to fill in for the pub side raid team that we have on Monday nights, SOL, Soldiers of Light, and so we had 2 commando healers. It was a minute before I realized that, because I saw, how commando healer has that green beam heal.
Yes.
And I saw the green beam go out, and I'm like, wait, no, wait, oh, there's another commando.
Don't cross the beams.
Yeah. So Kitty, I was thinking Kitty, who's the other healer last night. I don't know why I thought this. I was thinking she was an operative healer, but nope, commando. But yeah, we did Tithe last night too. And that was also a fun night where we spent most of the night on attempts and then got him down on the very last try, 1 minute before 11, which is kind of my favorite thing to do, where you struggle and get better each time, and then you have one time where you're worse than all the other times, then you come back with a vengeance and you just kill that guy. I just love those kind of nights, so that was fun.
Cool.
So how was your week, Max?
Yeah, we also killed Tithe on Thursday with our regular ops group as well,
Yes,
didn't we?
did.
And
Yes,
that
we
went
did.
pretty well. I
Yep.
think we'll want to try. I don't think we'll get it down in the near term, but I think we're probably ready to try veteran
Yeah.
Tithe. Mess around a little bit with veteran Tithe in the near term. Yes, so that's fun, doing some extra ops. It seemed like we spread some time around and have been doing a bunch of ops still lately. So the ops are still there. The ops content is still in the game. I thought everybody would only want to do Tithe, but now everybody still wants to go do just ops in general and just do stuff. So it's been okay. And GSF and PvP have been doing some of those still as well. PvP has still been going strong. There's a lot of people in there. There's some of the old time hardcore PvP guilds. I start to see some of them around in there lately. We'll see if it slowly diminishes again, but because it's busy, and I also see, I haven't done it, but I see people in general asking for people to queue up for ranked as well. So I think there's a little bit of that going on Jedi Covenant. So that's good, and it's good to see GSF continuing to get matches and have fun flying. I I like GSF. You get a lot of Command XP points for GSF. I'm much better at PvP. Like, I'm pretty good at PvP. I'm not very good compared to like the best GSF flyers, pilots, but GSF to me is much more relaxing than PvP.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, I guess you're kind of doing something every second in PvP.
Yeah.
But aren't you in GSF also?
A little bit depending on the ship you fly, and I tend to fly bombers, and on the non-deathmatch matches if I'm flying a bomber and defending a satellite, I can mostly just be sitting around the satellite,
Hmm.
dropping some bombs and not doing a lot of dogfighting or any of that. So then it tends to be pretty relaxing. So it keeps my adrenaline and anger levels a little bit lower. Of
I
course,
mean
my secret is I'm always angry, so there's that.
that reminds me of a thing. I don't know if I've ever said this about healing in general. Like when you're doing content that's new for the group that you're in, then you're you're healing a lot. You're working hard. You're casting all the time. You're looking at around what everything's happening, and then as the team that you're on or different people get more and more familiar with the content, your job as a healer gets easier and easier until it's just more relaxing. Whereas for the DPS, and that's probably true for the tank also, but for the DPS, it actually never. I figure they, in a way, never get that rest because they're always trying to get that little bit more DPS out.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Yeah.
You get used to the fight, and you get no. It's the same amount of continuing to be relaxed. You know your
Okay.
rotation so well. And as long as you sort of get used to the fight, you know where to go, you know where to stand, you know when you're going to switch targets, you know when you're going to kill the ads. I can, go and
Start typing in guild
go into
chat.
autopilot, be off, go
Doing
make a sandwich.
Yeah, like some fights I can definitely do guild invites during.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's
Okay.
that. So I think we can talk about news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In the news, patch 5.2.1 did release today, and that's what we're going to talk about today for the most part, and just talk about Iokath and how that's going in general. But as they were putting the patch in today, we did notice that they were having problems getting the servers back together and getting everything working. That was definitely an issue that took them most of the day. It took them, until like 4 o'clock to get the servers back up and
Yeah.
running? They had
Hmm.
problems getting the patch situated. Then they had problems with the data center not accepting new connections, and bunches of weird stuff were going on apparently. One thing we did get as part of that whole mess was a nice little post that came from Keith, which he did a good job of trying to really work hard to talk about exactly what happened and exactly what went wrong, which apparently everybody really liked and appreciated that
I
he did that.
appreciated it. Yeah.
So good job, Keith. I mean, even on Reddit, everyone had something good to say for the most part. That they were happy that he put this kind of work into being upfront and transparent and communicating out what was going on. So my that's what I meant by the show notes there when I said Keith types words.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciated it. I found I've because I came across it when I was checking Dev Tracker, which is one way that I read the forums. Is I just start with Dev Tracker, and then if the comment in Dev Tracker is interesting, then I might go in and read parts of the rest of the thread.
Hmm.
And what I'm finding, I have to be careful now when I'm reading Dev Tracker because so much of it is Eric Musco. I read this post by Keith, and I thought, oh, Eric is telling us a lot more than usual. I didn't even notice it was Keith, so I have to keep my eyes open more.
Yeah. Not that Eric doesn't, but Keith probably has a little more latitude to go
Yeah.
further than Eric is typically allowed to without
Yes.
checking in.
I did not mean Eric doesn't give details, but he usually doesn't say things like, we're in this note. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
Also, coming up soon is May the 4th. So, in honor of May the 4th, which is like, May the Force be with you day, if you log in between May 2nd and May 8th, you will earn your very own Astromech Mini Pet, and this one is called M4Y6. And also during this time, from May 4th to May 14th, double XP for everyone. Regular XP, like leveling XP. So that's a good thing.
Yes. And we were debating this in the note that came out where they said the double XP event will also run. And they now, we heard when they were putting some mechanics in last patch, 5.1-ish, where when they run one of these double XP events, which I think they've turned into sort of a thing they can basically switch on and off anytime they want. It's now a thing that they have available to them, and it should come along with the ability to go onto the fleet and buy one of the tokens, which will allow you to shut it off for your character if you don't want it to be running. So
That's right.
It's a whole little system in there
that.
now. Oh, were you going to mention that? Sorry.
No. I was just going to say I was going to mention it, but I didn't write it down, so I forgot. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, it should be there, but yeah. Hopefully it's there.
So anytime they run this now, anytime they run a double XP event, you should be able to do that according to their last notes when they were developing that. So there's that. In guild and community news, I think we're at the very tail end of Bad Feeling Podcast running their 200 million credit contest to kill Tithe and send them a screenshot. You're supposed to send a screenshot of Tithe laying dead after you killed him. I have continued to send pictures of butts to Brian, so I know he's really appreciated that. He did.
Yes.
He even called it out on their podcast last week.
on the Bad Peeling Podcast.
Bad Peeling Podcast, exactly. What about AIE Guild community stuff? Seema, what do we got going on this week?
Well, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing MFN on the pub site every third week, and then imp side on all the other weeks. We are running a little behind on getting Conquest set up this week, but I will tell you in a minute, if I can find it on Discord, what it's going to be.
It's Imp Belmora and Pub Terrace.
Thank you.
Was able to find that from Arvashet, our officer and conquest master.
So basically, it looks like, well, you guys can read it in game too, but the repeatables are going to be, there's Flashpoint, Group Finder Flashpoints, Group Finder Operations, looks pretty conventional. The crafting is one time only, lots of other one time only stuff, and weekly uprising missions, weekly operations mission, weekly flashpoint missions, and then PvP and GSF, which is that relaxing thing that Max was talking about. Look, I'm RP walking with my jetpack.
Yeah, it's called, the theme of this week is Flashpoint Havoc. So I guess the point is to go do a lot of flashpoints, and you'll get extra conquest points for doing that. Which I don't expect to do. I'll probably, if I get my conquest target, it'll be off of PvP and GSF, as it usually is. But it's got some good bonuses out there if you're going after that, especially to get some of those crafting mats from Conquest. And as always, if you are not in a guild and are looking for one, and you hear about our guild and are interested, you can come join, and that's why we do this podcast. So check out our guild info on aie-guild.org, and you can catch our officers in game on either side with a /cjoin AIE LFO to get in that channel and ask for an officer. If we're not in game, you can also catch Seema and I on Twitter pretty regularly, or look on the guild website and you can dig around in there and find our Discord information and come chat with everyone in Discord. We're all in there all day typically, so that's a good place to catch up with people and track us down and get in the guild and join for things like our mandatory fun nights weekly and our multiple ops teams. We'd be glad to have you. And as always, thank you to the chat room. You guys have been helping out already. I really appreciate it. And I will catch up with you all after the show. But now I think we can talk about what BioWare is trying to do to change, tweaking Iokath.
Continue if you wish. You will change nothing.
Go ahead and try to tweak it, BioWare. You will change nothing. No, they actually are changing some things. They're tweaking things. They're making things work a little bit better, especially with the way the dailies are. Some of the things that were broken, and some of the way they wanted to change things up, like the way the shards are dropping, which I do appreciate. But we'll walk through it and we'll talk about what we've been doing on Iokath so far. And I think I've only done them a couple times. I think what we're also going to do is, now that they've tuned up the way the dailies work and the weeklies, we're going to be getting more and more into that, and maybe Seema and I will take some time next week to talk about the dailies and weeklies in detail. So maybe we'll just touch on it this week, but get into that in more detail next week. So top of the notes was the May the 4th and the double XP, but we've already talked about that. Do you want to walk through the first couple general updates
Sure.
that they put in the patch notes, Seema?
Apparently there was an error in the tooltip for the free-to-play players chat restrictions, so that's been fixed. I mean, that's a good thing, because when there's misleading tooltip for the free-to-play players, that I always think new person, maybe. And chat is especially mysterious because some aspects of it work and some don't, and yeah, so clarification is good.
Yep.
They also changed the command experience fly text to be gold to differentiate it from regular character experience points, which I did not notice when I was out and about today.
You were not seeing the gold fly text?
I just didn't notice it. Yeah.
Girl, your
Here,
text
let me
is so
kill you.
fly. Just kill me.
Oh my god.
Kill me? Are you on the Alliance faction this week? Because then you probably could kill me if we went outside, right? No, we'd have to switch
but
to
I'm
the
not.
PvP map still.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's good. I think I'm more interested in how many command XP points that I'm getting off of mobs.
You're
than
more
anything else,
interested
so.
in that versus what color the text is, you mean?
No, I'm more interested in that than like character experience or
Oh, right.
You know, like looting the 1 credit each, off of the,
Well,
all that kind of stuff.
I'm just used to seeing it in chat, and that's where I kind of, have one eye trained on chat looking at. But yeah.
Yeah, Seema can move her eyes independently, which is disconcerting but useful. So
I'm very good if I need to, ignoring stuff too. So yeah, like the cost of repairs.
yeah, exactly. GSI satellite terminals are back on and active on Macab. Were they broken or something? I didn't even notice.
No, I didn't either. But
I
I
guess-
did look for them one time and I couldn't find them. But I just thought, oh, that was me, messing up or not being observant or something. But yeah, so maybe they were gone for a while.
Yeah, that's useful, especially when you're leveling. Being able to, by the time you get to, about 58, 60, you can go to Macab. And turning on those GSI support terminals gives you quite a bit of a buff. you don't have to worry about upgrading your armor or anything. You can just go in there and be plowing stuff down. So that's pretty useful.
Just a note on that: if you're doing your class story for the first time, don't go to Macabre early. Finish your class story first, because there's spoilers if you don't.
Yes. Yeah. Snape kills Dumbledore. That's the spoiler.
Soylent Green is people.
Rosebud was his sled.
They were on planet Earth all the time.
The damn dirty apes. The correct faction tooltip will now display regardless of what area a player's in on Iokath. So now we're getting to more of the things. Most of what they're doing in this patch is fixing up some of the stuff that was working on, or that was not working on Iokath. So that is fixed up. Not that that was bothering me too much. An achievement was added for completing Subverting the Tower Droid mission on Iokath. That's where you go up the one elevator.
I'm mousing over you right now, and I don't see your affiliation. What are they talking about?
I think it's when you go outside. But yeah, I don't know where it shows up. Faction tooltip now display regardless of what area a player is in on Iokath. I don't see an Imperial faction. I should be aligned with them, with the Empire. So I guess we'll check out where that shows up, but you should be able to check that out, because you can't tell from a player's class what faction they're aligned with at any particular time on Iokath. So that matters, right, especially if you're doing the PvP stuff and going out into the open areas on Iokath. You'll be able to shoot other players, even if they seem like they should be not shootable to you. Right. Just to be clear, shooting is not shooting. The shootable is shootingness.
Right.
They did make a couple of tweaks in classes and combat. They're not really tweaking any of the classes, except they did make a change to the sorcerer, I guess. So something was broken on Sorks. Using Expunge while the player had Galvanizing Cleanse utility will now cause your next ability with an activation time to activate it instantly as intended. So I guess that, and they didn't say that it was a corresponding fix to Sages. So was there something just broken on Sorks?
It must have been, yeah.
And there was also a weird white visual effect, like a circle on the ground, at the feet of operatives when they were using backstab from stealth. That's now fixed and gone too.
Either that, or they're just going to fix Sages and Scoundrels later. I don't think so.
Impossible. Proceed if you wish. You will change nothing. What else under classes and combat? More.
Let's see.
So this is more the Iokath stuff.
Yeah. So player's temporary ability bar will no longer disappear when you get out of an alternate form like the Walker, or like the Walker. So in other words, if you have something that should remain, like heroic moment or something like that, it should still be there.
Yes, because I guess this is mostly interaction with heroic moment and those that stuff.
Right. Anything that brings up the temporary ability bar.
And then there's a couple other fixes in this section which are all related to that. So because once you do some of those dailies with the terminals where I'm going to go become a walker, or I'm going to go control a preservation droid or a mouse droid, you get a temporary action bar. And you messing with your own or creating a secondary temporary action bar, or using your heroic moment and having the heroic moment expire was causing all sorts of problems, I guess. So that temporary action bar no longer disappears. Heroic moment expiring while you're in one of those forms no longer prevents you from interacting with terminals. I liked this next one. Extrication and rescue are no longer usable on allies who are in a mounted turret on Iokath. So apparently, if you're sitting in a turret, which you had to pay for, I believe, and your friend could come along and just yank you out of it. That had
I'm
to be
sorry I missed. I'm
a
sorry I missed that actually.
little bit annoying. Um, Overcharge cannon ability for the Assault Walker now gains increased damage from charge weapon stacks as intended. So it's something else that was just a little bit broken that they were fixing. And corrected various missing tooltips for alternate forms on Iokath. Meh. Not very interesting.
But, bugs are not always interesting, so
Yeah.
still got to fix them.
What else? Next. What's the next section, Zima?
Flashpoints, operations, uprisings. So I guess in the case of flashpoints, veteran and master modes, we're not dropping loot for players of the lower levels 51 to 64, but now they should.
Excellent. Yeah, which are useful for leveling up. So now if you're in there, you'll be getting extra gear as intended. And leveling via flashpoints, if you can, if you're doing, but to be doing veteran and master at 51 to 64, I guess that's still okay, right? Because some of those are intended to be at those levels. So it's not like you're doing end game veteran master mode content.
Right. I do think because the next bullet point is about specifically Battle of Rishi, that bolster now, applies properly to veteran and master modes for that. I still don't quite understand the application of bolster for veteran and master mode. So you just need no gear at all for those, huh? It's just you just have to play a little bit better for each mode.
Correct. I agree with you that I don't completely understand bolster for veteran and master modes either. I thought that especially for master mode there was no bolster. You just needed to be good and have good gear. But apparently that's not the case. So I guess that's something to check into a little bit more, how that works.
I mean, if all you have to have is no gear but be good, that would be interesting, but not like any other MMO has done it.
Right. A little bit on Gods from the Machine. So everyone's been in there fighting Tithe. We do know that the first week that it was out, that the Tithe reset was daily instead of weekly. They did fix that prior to 5.2.1 by about Thursday of last week, but they had to do a little bit more extra work to finalize that fix apparently in 5.2.1, so they put a note in. So now it works just like all the other operation lockouts you would expect. Tithe now drops crafting materials. I didn't notice that he didn't drop crafting materials before, but I guess...
I didn't notice that he did either. Why would he drop crafting materials unless they mean if you
purple and the blue
them?
Thing? No, I think it's...
Oh, those things. Okay.
Yeah, which you do want to be getting off of there, so that makes sense.
You do. Yes, you do. You're right. I was thinking of something else.
And then this next one we were debating also, after his impressive cinematic entrance, Tithe has decided to actually wield his weapon. People have said no one was noticing that he wasn't wielding his weapon. Was there situations where you could get it to where he wasn't holding his weapon in combat?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Corley said that running it last night, he did have his weapon, and it should have been pre-patch. So, I don't know. We checked him tonight, and he was certainly using his weapon.
In that fight, I'm actually looking at the floor and the bars, the raid frames.
So
unless he waved his weapon,
coming to shoot you.
Well, that's where the floor part comes in.
Oh, yeah.
If he, because I'm looking for the red telegraphs and all this stuff, but unless he waved his whatever you call that thing,
Saber staff.
Saber staff, pole arm or whatever it is, in front of the raid frames,
yeah,
or like tried to slice my ankles with it, I wouldn't notice.
Although he does slice the floor with it, and it makes one of those saber marks in the floor, but
Sweet.
only more in the direction of the tank. so it may not, probably not over by you, because he shouldn't be facing you unless the tank is terrible like me.
No, you're a great tank.
I was doing all right. Doing pretty good.
Yeah,
I
we
was
have.
tanking on my Vanguard tonight, which is one of my favorite classes. I barely play it. In fact, I noticed that I haven't even gotten it through all the chapters. I've just been so focused on the Merc, especially since the whole
Yeah.
Command XP system has gone in.
Yeah.
Because I've
Right.
just been pushing and pushing and pushing, and now I'm rank 300. I'm getting tier 4 crates. I've got a lot of really good gear on my mercenary. I'd love to be all 248, but that means I've let all my other characters just sort of languish, which is one of the downsides to the system. I do have quite a bit. I do have some nice 248 pieces now. I've got a 248 main hand, 248 chest, 248, couple other earpiece, and a lot of 246 in addition as well. So I'm feeling pretty good there. But yeah, my poor Vanguard hasn't even completed Knights of the Eternal Throne, so that's a flaw.
I've had pretty good luck with the tier 3 stuff, so I have a number of 242 things. So that change they made where things drop from bosses now has really changed the feeling of the whole thing for me. So that's
Yes.
good.
Yeah, that does help. So that tunes up, hopefully. Oh, what was the last one? Even though he is a god, Tith's entrance cinematic will no longer play after he has been defeated. Okay.
I never saw that effect either, but I guess that would be kind of alarming if you killed him and then he
You walk back in there and he starts yelling at you
started,
again.
yeah, talking to Skyva, the origin mother.
Yes. I am so angry. I am terribly angry. Whatever he says in his cinematic.
I wonder if we get to fight Skyva, or if Skyva is going to be like I don't know, something
Some
we don't fight.
meta thing that happens.
Yeah,
Story-ish content.
yeah.
Good question. There's those terminals. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Items in economy. What's up with the items in economy section, Seema? Lay it on me.
So apparently there was something called an Ortec F7 blaster and an Ortec F7 blaster rifle, and it was not activating properly in collections. Oh, I guess you can collect it now. So
Okay.
that's good news for owners of the Ortec F7 blaster and blaster rifle.
Excellent. I don't know what those are either, but maybe it was something from the cartel market.
I would think if it's in collections.
Excellent. Awesome. If I come across one, now I can put it in my collections. I will be happy about that.
So, the Hirati YH99, its art has been updated to match its icon and collection art as it intended. So, is that a speeder?
Sounds like it.
I'm gonna say
Harati
it's a speeder.
is a speeder.
Updated to match its icon. They updated the art of the speeder to match the icon and not the other way around. That's cool.
Updated. The art has been updated to match its icon and collection art. That's a weird way to say that, but okay. Well, we had this icon, so we changed the whole graphic model of the
Because
speeder.
we really like the icon. It
because-
is the best icon.
That is a little bit weird. So here's this. I did find the Ortec rifle. Seems fine. Oh, it's got a nice little laser sight effect on it, on the blaster.
Cool.
It's a little square and blocky though. It's got the I like lights on stuff and animations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
anything that's got animations on it, I'm happy about. Gemini MK5 unassembled bracers have been added to the Tier 4 vendor for Shield Specialist Vanguard, which is what my Vanguard is. So that is good, even though I did not get any unassembled bracers tonight, especially not MK5 unassembled bracers. a
But
Gemini
if you had,
level.
you wouldn't have been able to buy bracers. Is that right? Until now.
Right. So Gemini MK5 is 248. So that must be using unassembled pieces from PvP to upgrade to 242 to 248. That must be what that is. So I would not have been able to do that with PvP unassembled tokens because they didn't exist on the vendor apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, so the way if so everyone remembers, the way things work for PvP is because you're not getting unassembled pieces dropping off of bosses because you're a PvPer hardcore and you only PvP, you get another currency called unassembled tokens or unassembled. Let's see what it says in my. I'll just tell you what it's called. Unassembled components, and then you turn in a stack of unassembled components to get a unassembled piece, then like an unassembled bracer, and then you turn in the unassembled bracer with command tokens to get the actual gear piece. So I did do that. I have used unassembled components because I PvP enough, and that's why I have a 248 main hand weapon.
Ah, okay.
That was one thing I upgraded that way.
They upgraded they increased the number of Galactic Alliance statue decorations you can have from up to 10. It used to be just one.
Yes. Thank you. Why don't they make them all 999?
Especially this one should be made at least 26 or whatever the maximum number of characters size you can have.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand that. But yes, at least you can go up to 10 now, so that's good. The next couple other updates do talk about they added a new type of shard cluster. So shards are the currency that you get on Iokath that you use to do the unlocking of those vehicle quests where you either ride the walker or the preservation droid or the mouse droid, or you're getting like dropping turrets to use to complete dailies or in the PvP areas. They added a legendary Iokath shard cluster as a consumable that's dropped from some of the daily missions. They had an artifact, they had a purple one, so they're adding the legendary one. They're trying to spread more shards around in general, is what this sounds like. The problem that people were running into is those shards. It was taking a long time to bother to even collect up enough shards to go turn in a bunch of shards. So I got to go grind out a bunch of shards to turn in a bunch of shards to go do a daily. That just did not sound very fun.
Right.
So I appreciate that they're adding more shards around in general. They're adding this legendary shard cluster. They're going to add more shards. I think they're adding some additional shards in a couple other places as well. So that's good. Do you know what this Tuscan Partition Stronghold decoration is, Seema?
I do not, but it's now set to a decoration hook instead of a floor covering hook.
All right. I don't know what that is either, but they fixed some decoration. All right, how about missions and NPCs? What do we got there?
So I guess there was some kind of issue with the opening cinematic for the Imperial Agent, but they've fixed that. There was something with it was shaking or something, but apparently the camera was sporadically spinning. Fixed now.
That's interesting to me. It sounds like that those cutscenes are. I expect that they were just sort of movies, but maybe they're not. Maybe it's sort of rendering in
I
game.
mean, they do have to update because they show you in what your gear is, and they show
Yeah, true.
like whoever's around you is there in the background. You can see actual players in the background. So
Yeah, whatever you made your face when you. Nice face. However,
nice face you have there.
whatever you set your hairdo to when you created your character. Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty interesting. So apparently it was screwing up for the Imperial Agent, and they fixed that. One of the droids that gives you Directive 7 mission was messing up apparently, and wasn't giving you veteran mode if you're trying to do veteran mode Directive 7, and now you can do that for whoever's out there doing Directive 7.
There's some NPCs that you came across while you were doing the Fortify the Defenses mission on Iokath that had numbers in their names. So that's been fixed, even though apparently it was really cool. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's elite.
Yeah. So yeah. Who wrote these notes? It's because it's not Tate anymore, is it?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder who does write them. But yeah, it's a little tongue in cheek. You know, even though the droids thought it was really cool to have numbers in their names, they didn't get to keep the numbers. Now they have actual names.
Defeating the Scour Swarm Coordinator will now always progress the Forgotten World mission, even if the player dies before killing all of the Purifier drones. Well, there's a whole bunch of words.
Yep, that probably means something right there.
That right there, it now happens. So
yep.
You got that going for you, which is nice.
Here's one we can understand. Iokath daily missions have had their command experience rewards increased, and they will also now reward consumable CXP packs. So yay for increasing command experience.
Yes, that's always good. The daily missions on Iokath in particular were low with command experience. Now I think, so I don't know how it compares. I think people are now saying though that they're giving enough command XP that if you're going to go do any dailies, you would only bother to do the Iokath dailies and not be interested in other dailies.
Yeah, I'll have to check into that.
Although there's not that many Iokath dailies, so that works if you're only planning on doing a handful of dailies, just a couple dailies a day. But not that strategy sort of fizzles out if you wanted to do some more.
I thought the issue was that we were used to getting a certain amount of command XP for daily missions, and then Iokath came in and they were too low. And I thought this was going to move Iokath to be commensurate with the others, but I don't know, some guildies were saying that now it's not worth doing the others. Anyway, we'll have to do some research this week.
Yeah, I think it seems like it leapfrogged. So yeah, we'll have to check it out. The Iokath Sentinel, Walker, and Mouse Droid daily missions have had a credit boom or credit explosion, and Iokath shard clusters added to their mission rewards. So you do get credits, and you do get shards for the mission rewards for doing those missions, which is really useful because those are the missions that require shards to do them. So getting some shards back out of that is not a bad idea.
So are these technical terms, or are these items, credit boom and credit explosion?
They seem to be, yeah, that's a good question. They seem to be written as that means something from a design vocabulary. I've never seen it before. So I don't know.
I think I read that as we get more credits for them now.
Yes. Yeah.
While on Iokath, players in an operation group will now receive mission progress even if they are in a different subgroup than the party leader.
Excellent.
Oh, I see. It was only giving party, credit for if you were in the party with the leader. Now you can be in the operations team, but in a different party, like party 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.
Really? That's interesting. So you can be in an ops group and be getting mission progress on Iokath.
We should try that out too.
So you could be in an ops group and be killing... You could like go in there with, what, like 16, 20, 24 players, groups, a big group with healers, and go be fighting other players to get your kills? As part of
we should try that out
on the PvP maps. That's interesting. Players who complete the main story mission on Iokath while also on a repeatable chapter will no longer be blocked from gaining Ilara Dorn or Malavai Malalavi
Oh my.
Malavai Quinn as a companion. Hey, so I was reading this. Did you get a companion out of this whole
No,
deal?
no.
No, neither did I. I did not get Quinn, and I didn't kill him. So, if you were a Sith warrior, you could kill him because, well, spoilers, but you can because that's part of the whole class story. So you have that option. But if you didn't do that, then you should have been able to get him as a companion, and I did not.
And not only did I not get that, Lana's been bugging me anew to go and talk to her about getting Major Pierce, which I never got Major Pierce, but I started it in order to be able to. Oh, I do have Malavi Quinn.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he's in my list, but he's by himself in his own group called Companions.
His own group called companions. So main characters, creatures, droids, other followers. Main characters.
Yeah, it's above creatures.
It's above creatures. No,
Between, yeah,
I have
yeah, it's
nothing
called
between.
Companions.
I have nothing between main characters and creatures, and I did have and have had a repeatable chapter active. So I think I must have hit the bug. Which is problematic. I think they said so. I think there was also a write up in the dev tracker that is now fixed moving forward. However, if you ran into it and had a repeatable chapter active, um, the you won't get Quinn or Alara that you're supposed to get right away, but
Right.
because they haven't fixed that yet. So anybody who got messed up and missed them, you'll get it eventually, but you don't have it yet. So there's that.
I
Completing
didn't
week.
get Alara. I only got Malavi. I didn't get Alara, but I did get her gear. My in my inventory now, I have her entire outfit.
But you didn't
'Cause
try it because you didn't go. You didn't go
no, no,
Republic.
I didn't. I went Imperial, so I got Quinn, but she's in my list. And when I tried to summon her, only her gear came.
Really?
Yeah,
Why
so
would
all
she
her
be in your
gear's in.
list? That's weird too.
So like, yeah, when I look at companions and contacts, she's just in there near the bottom under another group called Companions. And it just says interactions discussed it at the idea of serving the Empire. Alara chose not to join the Alliance, which makes sense.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But she doesn't
But
show
yeah,
up for me anywhere either.
oh, you
Although,
messed up.
yeah, I am. Although I think what someone also mentioned and reminded me was you can still go to that little terminal in Odessen and get Alara out of there. So that's still a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I may do that on my mercenary just because I think Alara is cool and force her to serve me. But that's a little dark. Last couple things. Completing a weekly mission on Iokath will no longer prevent a character from switching factions. So that was an issue. If you
Yeah, that was a
had
fix.
the weekly half done or you completed the weekly, you couldn't switch factions. You were trying to do both the Imperial side and the Republic side and switch back and forth during the week. That now should be working as intended. Players can now advance the Bounty Hunter class mission. Some people just need killing by interacting with their ship holo terminal as intended. I didn't. Was that a lingering issue? Must have been.
I think it must have. I want to guess that it's something that was introduced recently and now fixed because I think we would have heard about it by now.
Yep. What else?
Um, the mission area for the Jedi Knight class mission, the Defector, is once again accessible. See, I think there's just a few class mission stuff that got broken somehow, and this is a list of things that have gotten fixed.
Got it.
Um,
So a couple class missions things got fixed. And then the final two things were back on Iokath. Colossus droid on Iokath no longer reset during the encounter, so he's sort of the world boss that runs around, right? I have not killed him yet. Have you seen him or killed him, Seema?
No.
Colossus droid? I want
Mm-mm.
to, though, so maybe we got to do that this week, too.
Yeah, we'll go looking for him this week, yeah. And then the mounted turret manufacturing terminal has had its credit costs adjusted so that it is equal for Republic and Imperial players. So apparently
Somebody was
it
getting
was not
screwed.
equal before. I demand a refund.
Yes, somebody. Yeah,
I
somebody
don't know
was...
which way it was unequal, but I want a refund.
Okay. So that looks good. So little tweaks, updates, not all that too exciting, but it was something that we wanted to walk through and talk about, and mostly just read for ourselves anyway. So we figured we'd read them out loud to you. But I'm still having fun with Iokath, so I'm glad that we're getting some things fixed up. I am going to go through more of the dailies in detail this week. We can talk about that more next week. I'm excited to get the next boss. When's the next boss coming out? They haven't announced when it'll be out yet. Have they?
No, but they
hope.
just showed us some sexy pictures of it.
Yeah, it's two chick bosses, right? Two
Yeah.
female droids.
Mm-hmm.
What was the what discussion?
With boobies.
But there was something else. Can droids have something? And Seema piped up and said, "Well, they have boobs."
So they should be able to.
What was the other thing we were wondering if they could have? I don't know.
I don't know.
Regardless,
Pants? I don't know.
regardless, they are girl. Oh, can they be girl? Yeah, I don't know, but there's girl droids with boobs who are coming next and have pretty cool
But
armor.
they're not the first. They're not the first. I mean, Scorpio and
Yeah, no,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Scorpio from way back. How about Zio Ohm? She doesn't
Right.
have boobs.
Right.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't?
No,
Oh.
she just has a girl voice. Poor Zio Ohm. No boobs. Regardless, that is what's coming next, and yeah, I'm hoping we get that boss encounter sooner rather than later. I have not. It still's probably going to at least be a few weeks. I'd expect that they would want to throw it on the PTS and have some people trying it out. So it may be a little while before we see that. They may have been focusing on getting Iokath and the dailies all tuned up, and now they'll get to testing the next boss encounter. So we'll have to see.
I just, sort of apropos of nothing, if you haven't looked into Twitch Prime, right now might be a good time because I understand there's a deal going on where you can get a crate or something.
Good point. Yes, there is they just announced it. They put it on their website. So go to the main website. There's a promotion that is tied to SWTOR right now. If you have not gotten the expansion, then that's part of it. I know. But there's a whole sort of temporary promotion going on with Twitch Prime in general. So it's something to check out. You get the ultimate access is what they were calling it to Iokath.
Yeah, but specifically with Twitch, yeah, Twitch Prime, which I've seen it floating around, but I haven't really, gotten on board with it. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that this week too.
Yes.
There's
Sorry, I
other
was trying
advantages
to find
to
some more
being.
details on it, but I can't find them right off. So we'll have to.
I'm a longtime Amazon Prime user, and I'm a longtime Twitch user. But just somehow linking the two, I haven't really explored whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it sounds like it might be a good thing.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. All right. I think with that, our 192 droid here is ready to tweak on out of here. I don't know what that means. But Thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, on iTunes, YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Tuesday night on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA. Or come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.